Nice sub-story about Teresa Wilson. That single sentence changed everything. In May 2002, a journalist at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch opened a letter that no newsroom ever wants to receive. It mocked a murdered woman, demanded better coverage, and promised something chilling in return. The writer claimed he was a serial killer and offered directions to his 17th victim. Police searched a 50-yard radius, just like the letter instructed. The killer had told the truth. A year earlier, in May 2001, a grass cutter in St. Charles County discovered the naked body of a black woman near a roadside. Dental records identified her as Teresa Wilson, a woman loved by her family despite her struggle with addiction. 1 month later, less than 20 feet away, Verona Thompson was found the same way. Soon, more women followed. Alyssa Greenwade, Betty James, Yvonne Cruz, Brenda Beasley. Different jurisdictions, same nightmare. Detective Jenna Walters said it best. These are women, mothers, daughters, sisters. But many were sex workers. Many battled substance use disorder. And because of that, their disappearance didn't trigger alarms right away. By the time police connected the dots, bodies were appearing month after month. Someone was hunting and choosing victims the world rarely protected. Federal agents joined local police. Streets were canvassed. Then DNA tied several victims together. Still, no suspect. The killer stayed invisible until he wanted to be seen. That letter to the journalist wasn't a mistake. It was arrogance. The letter had no DNA, no fingerprints. But it had something else. A digital trail. The map came from an online website. FBI subpoenas traced it to one IP address. Maury Travis didn't look like a monster. He was a food server, a volunteer, a man neighbors described as friendly and helpful. He talked about mechanics, warned co-workers about drugs. He looked like a good person. But police noticed something strange. He took his trash out obsessively. Investigators collected his garbage in secret inside a discarded plastic spoon. DNA from that spoon matched semen found on murdered women. The case snapped into focus. On June 7, 2002, police entered Travis's home. Upstairs was spotless, no dust, no chaos. Then they opened a locked basement door. The smell hit first. Blood and decay matched with deodorizer. Blue painted walls. A mattress on the floor. Chains, ligatures, a stun gun. Investigators called it a chamber of horrors. Behind a bookshelf sat dozens of VHS tapes. On them, women were bound, degraded, tortured. Travis forced them to call him master, forced them to confess sins. In one tape, he looked into the camera and said, "First kill is 19 years old. Name? I don't know. I don't give a f." Counseling was mandatory after viewing them. Travis was arrested, cocky, smiling. He promised to confess everything with the lawyer present. Investigators believe he could lead them to countless missing women. Closure was finally within reach. 3 days later, on June 10, 2002, Maury Travis hung himself in his jail cell. In a note to his mother, he wrote, "I've been sick in the head since I was 14. He took the truth with him, the locations, the names, the answers." Police believe Maury Travis killed more than 20 women, possibly dozens. Many may never be found. And the most haunting truth remains. He wasn't caught by police work alone. He was caught because he wanted credit. "My husband is innocent." Those were the words Wendy Carr repeated again and again. Even after Phoenix police named her husband one of the most dangerous serial killers in Arizona history, she said he was loving, gentle, a good neighbor. While the city called him a monster, she built a website to prove he was framed. Unlike many serial killers, Mark Godot never wrote letters. He didn't taunt the media. He didn't brag to journalists. And that made him more terrifying, because while the public searched for clues, he kept killing in silence. Between August 2005 and June 2006, Phoenix became a city on edge. Women were being raped, robbed, shot in the head. Sometimes in public, sometimes just steps from safety. Most victims were found along one road, Baseline Road, and soon the name spread like wildfire, the Baseline Killer. There was no pattern people could follow. Victims weren't targeted for revenge. Mark Godot was born in 1964, one of 13 children. His childhood was complicated. Some siblings remembered peace, others remembered alcoholism and abuse. His mother died when he was 12. At Corona del Sol High School, he played football and seemed normal. No one imagined what he would become. As a young man, Godot's name surfaced again and again in rape allegations, assaults and robberies. In 1989, a woman was abducted, brutally raped and beaten with a barbell. He served for over a decade in prison. Yet even after all of this, he was released. When Godot returned to Phoenix in 2004, he married Wendy Carr, got a job as a construction worker, mowed his lawn perfectly, smiled at neighbors. Everyone knew he'd been in prison and they still liked him. In August 2005, the first attack was reported. 3 teenage girls were assaulted behind a church. A month later, the murders began. Victims were grabbed from street corners, parks and sidewalks, taken nearby, shot in the head. Same gun, same cold precision. Witnesses described the killer wearing a Halloween mask, pretending to be homeless, acting like a drug addict, asking for help. He could become anyone. Police released sketches. Posters covered Phoenix. A $100,000 reward was offered. Fear seeped into everyday life. The break didn't come from the public. It came from parole officers. They noticed something unsettling. Mark Godot looked exactly like the sketch. A search of his home revealed masks, weapons, and items linking him to the crimes. Then came the evidence that shattered everything. DNA recovered from a brutal rape of 2 sisters, one visibly pregnant, matched Godot. In court, the sisters testified that he pointed a gun at a pregnant woman's belly while assaulting them. Prosecutors laid out crime after crime, 86 felonies in just 10 months. The jury listened and believed the evidence. In 2011, Mark Godot was convicted of 9 murders and dozens of other crimes. He was sentenced to death 9 times and more than 1,700 years in prison. He now sits on Arizona's death row. And still, his wife insists he's innocent. Friends say he was framed. They claim the police needed a suspect, but Phoenix remembers the fear, the randomness, the bodies. And sometimes, the most dangerous killer isn't the one who writes letters. It's the one who never says a word. I hope he burns in hell. Those words came from Chris Cunningham, the brother of one of the victims, as he faced the man who destroyed his family. Another sister, Cynthia Barabin, spoke of finding her brother Chris DeVille in a cane field. She said, "When we found him, he was nothing. We had to bury bones." These families were not just grieving deaths, they were grieving the way their loved ones were erased. Here is the part that feels unreal. The serial killer let people go. Ronald Joseph Dominic admitted that if a man refused one simple request, being tied up, he allowed him to live unharmed. One man said no and walked away alive. That single decision would later end a killing spree that lasted nearly 10 years. Police would later reveal something even more disturbing. Every one of Dominic's victims was voluntarily tied up. No weapons, no struggle. Once the knots were tied, it was over. Trust, not force, was the weapon. And once he had them bound, investigators said, once he got you tied up, you were his. Dominic's story did not begin in the bayous. It began at Thibodeau High School, where he sang in the chorus and glee club. Classmates later recalled that he was ridiculed and bullied, often mocked over rumors about his sexuality. In a small Louisiana town, embarrassment had nowhere to hide. He never admitted being gay as a teen, but the teasing followed him, and the shame stayed with him. As an adult, Dominic never truly belonged anywhere, even within the gay community. Many described him as an outcast. He cross-dressed, performed awkward club impersonations, and was often laughed at rather than accepted. He learned to live quietly, watching, observing, hiding. That rejection did not fade. It transformed into control. This is what fooled everyone. Dominic joined the Lions Club. He spent Sundays calling bingo numbers for senior citizens. He helped neighbors, played with children, caused no trouble. People said you couldn't ask for a better guy. And that's exactly why no one suspected that at night he was hunting men. In 1997, the body of David LeVron Mitchell, just 19 years old, was found near Hunville. Months later, Gary Pierre, aged 20, was found in St. Charles Parish. In 1998, Larry Ranson, age 38, was discovered dead.
Placed on the ground outside of the same type of, trash dumpster. The bodies were disposed of where they were going to be found.
Over the years, more names followed: Manuel Reed, Oliver Liebanks, Chris DeVille, Kenneth Randolph, Michael Barnett, and others. Different places, same ending. Dominic approached men who were homeless or desperate for money. He offered cash for sex. If the man said he was straight, Dominic showed him a photo of a woman and claimed she was his wife, too shy to appear unless the man was tied up. The wife was a lie. A photo meant nothing. It was simply the door to death. In 1996, Dominic had been arrested for rape and spent 3 months in jail. The case collapsed when the victim disappeared. Investigators later said that experience changed everything. Dominic decided he would never risk prison again. His logic was chilling and simple. A dead man can't testify. Once tied up, victims were raped, then strangled or suffocated. Their bodies were dumped in sugarcane fields, bayous, and roadside ditches across 6 Louisiana parishes. Many victims were never reported missing right away. They were people society barely noticed, and Dominic knew that. Years later, one man finally spoke. He told his parole officer about this strange encounter, how a man tried to tie him up for sex. That tip led police to Dominic's camper in Bayou Blue. When confronted, Dominic even gave DNA voluntarily, believing he was untouchable. He was wrong. In 2006, Ronald Joseph Dominic was arrested. He confessed to 23 murders but was convicted of 8. In 2008, he received 8 life sentences, no parole. And the most chilling truth remains. This was a serial killer who didn't force his victims. He convinced them. And sometimes, the most dangerous monster is the one who looks like a man.